All right, let's proceed to reading, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
And tell me about the mistakes.
Um, First mistake is fifth,
Fifth,
where I had to match a list of heading with the paragraph.
paragraph E, question number fifth. Okay, so we'll have to read paragraph E. It says 4 years. Okay, before we start reading, give me a brief, your two to three lines about 2 to 3 lines overview about what this passage is talking about.
It is talking about tortoises and their native place, which was being matlab, which was
Acquired,
being
taken.
acquired by human population, and then it became an endangered population at last, and then a man named this what environmentalist Godfrey Merlin.
Joffrey,
He got
Joffrey
got
Merlin.
Godfrey, whatever it is. He tried.
Okay, Godfrey, liaison officer Godfrey Merlin.
Hmm,
Yeah, what did he do?
he tried to give them a new home, maybe because he tried breeding. He tried using helicopter to move the tortoises to various locations near Sierra Negra,
Hmm.
and it was ultimately the plan was ultimately made a reality in the next paragraph,
Oh,
and ultimate release of the tortoises was made in that same island where they met their ancestors.
okay, okay. All right. So let's just quickly read paragraph E and understand what it's talking about. For years, repatriation efforts were carried out in small numbers with the tortoises carried on the backs of men over weeks of long, treacherous hikes along narrow trails. Okay. But in November 2010, the environmentalist and Galapagos National Park liaison officer Godfrey Merlin, a visiting private motor yacht captain, and a helicopter pilot gathered around a table in a small cafe in Puerto Ayora on the island of Santa Cruz to work out more ambitious reintroduction. Reintroduction. Okay, so moving the tortoises to another place, reintroducing them to the other place. Uh, 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 uh. So initially the tortoises were at Galapagos Island, right?
Hmm.
Then they were moved from there to.
There to Santa Cruz, nahi, Sierra Negra.
Okay, okay, okay. The aim was to use a helicopter to move 300 of the breeding center's tortoises to various locations close to Sierra Negra. Okay. All right. So what was your answer?
It was seventh.
Seventh, looking for a home for the island's tortoises. But they already had a home. They just had to move them, no? Sierra Negra was the home. They were not looking for it. So
Hmm.
the importance of getting the timing right, no, this was not discussed. Young meat sold was not discussed. Developments to the disadvantage of tortoise populations. नहीं इसकी भी बात नहीं हुई. No, no, no. Planning a bigger idea. हाँ, ये हुआ है ना, क्योंकि पहले लोग they carried tortoises on their backs over weeks of the treacherous.
Hmm.
इसने कुछ बड़ा प्लान किया using helicopters or something else. हाँ, tortoises populate the island, ये भी नहीं लिखा, not mentioned. Carrying out a carefully prepared operation. Carrying out की बात भी हुई है. नो, कैरिंग आउट की
Hmm.
नहीं हुई, सो दे
Carrying out next
डिस्कस.
paragraph. No, it was just planned here in this paragraph.
राइट राइट राइट. द स्टार्ट ऑफ द कंजर्वेशन प्रोजेक्ट, नहीं, स्टार्ट भी फिर बाद में ही होगा या पहले होगा. ये तो बस
Hmm.
रिपैट्रिएशन वाली बात है. सो फिफ्थ कैन बी द आंसर, सॉरी फिफ्थ नहीं, फोर्थ, प्लानिंग अ बिगर आइडिया. इज दैट द आंसर? याद है आपको
Hmm.
आंसर वही है? ओके, चलो नेक्स्ट.
Okay. Next question is question number 14th.
14th, intersection of health sciences and geography. ये तो थोड़ा रिलेटेबल होगा. हेल्थ.
Ridiculous.
14th, okay, an acceptance that not all diseases can be totally eliminated. All right. What was your answer?
A.
A. And why?
Because here it is written with while many diseases that affect humans have been eradicated due to improvements in vaccinations and availability of healthcare, there are still areas around the world where certain health issues are more prevalent.
Uh,
This line was the reason I took this paragraph as my answer.
so this is not really related to the question. Question says an acceptance that not all diseases can be totally eliminated. Elimination means removal or curing of diseases, but that is
Mhm.
mentioning that they are present. It's not anywhere related to their removal. So, which paragraph is talking about elimination of diseases?
Is paragraph D then?
D.
It is talking about polio, which is re-emerging, but it
Okay.
is re-emerging. Here it is written, it's increasingly important area of study in a world where diseases like polio are re-emerging, respiratory disease continue to spread, and malaria-prone areas
Hmm.
are still fighting to find a better cure.
Okay. But this is also not talking about elimination and the acceptance that they cannot be eliminated. Increasingly important area of study in a world where diseases like polio are re-emerging, respiratory diseases continue to spread, and malaria-prone areas are still fighting to find a better cure. Hmm. Health geography is the combination of, on the one hand, knowledge regarding geography and methods used to analyze and interpret geographical information, and on the other, the study of health, diseases, and healthcare practices around the world. The aim of this hybrid science is to create solutions for common geography-based health problems. Yes, read this line. While people will always be prone to illness, the study of how geography affects our health could lead to the eradication of certain illnesses and the prevention of others in the future. This is somewhere related to that. So the question says an acceptance that not all diseases can be totally eliminated. So this line also means a similar thing. People will always be prone to illness, and there are some things that can be done to eradicate certain illnesses and prevent others in the future. So they are accepting that people will always be vulnerable to illnesses. Okay, okay, all right. बट इसमें पहली बार गलती हुई आपसे.
किसमें?
ये स्टेटमेंट्स मैच करना, इसमें पहले गलती नहीं हुई दो क्लासेस में.
हो जाती है।
मैं वही सोच रहा हूँ, आज दो दो हो गई. नेक्स्ट.
32.
32.
I wrote A. How dramatically our reactions to music can vary.
Two, what point does the writer emphasize in the first paragraph? How little we know. We can get this only after reading the first paragraph. Hmm. Why does music make us feel? On the one hand, music is a purely abstract art form, devoid of language or explicit ideas. And yet, even though music says little, it still manages to touch us deeply. When listening to our favorite songs, our body betrays all the symptoms of emotional arousal. The pupils in our eyes dilate, our pulse and blood pressure rise, the electrical conductance of our skin is lowered, and the cerebellum, a brain region associated with bodily movement, becomes strangely active. Blood is even redirected to the muscles in our legs. In other words, sound stirs us at our biological roots. Okay, right. So your answer was D.
It was A.
Okay, A. How dramatically? No, 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 no. How dramatically our reactions to music can vary. Vary means differ. So you can use the word vary when you are comparing two people or their reactions. For example, I will react differently to music, you will react differently. But in this paragraph, there is no comparison. It is just stating how people react to music in general. So the blood pressure starts rising, blood flows to different muscles, all those things happen. So it affects the biological roots. Now we have to look for a similar option. How intense our physical responses to music can be. Maybe, yes. How little we know about the way that music affects us. No. How much music can tell us about how our brains operate. ब्रेन्स ऑपरेशन की तो कोई बात नहीं हुई यहाँ पे, नहीं ना, यहाँ पे फिजिकल सिम्टम्स दिखाए हैं. Eyes dilation, pulse and blood pressure rise, skin, cerebellum, a brain region associated with bodily movement, becomes strangely active. So it's majorly talking about physical things. I think answer should be B. How intense our physical responses to music can be. So have
It
you
was
understood
B.
why? Hmm? There is no comparison. That's why A cannot be the answer. And they have only stated physical symptoms that our body experiences. Yeah. And next. Okay, 37. I think. Right. Cool.